Hi everyone, welcome to School of Dapps. On this channel, we turn aspiring developers into skilled blockchain experts across multiple blockchain networks and technologies. If that's what you want, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. In today's video, we'll be exploring modules in Move. And by the end of this lesson, you will understand modules like a pro. So let's get started. Firstly, let's define or explain what modules mean. A module is like a container that holds related piece of code together. These codes do include functions, constants, and data structure. One important thing to note is that everything inside a module is private by default, meaning no one can access it unless we explicitly allow them. Now, let's imagine you have a toolbox. Inside the toolbox, you have different tools, each serving a specific purpose. Some tools are for cutting, while some are for measuring, and some are for fixing things. That's exactly what a module is in Move. It's like a container that hold related piece of code together. In creating a module, we have to declare it first. And how do we declare a module? Let's have a practical example. Declaring a module in Move is very simple. We use the module keyword followed by module keyword followed by the package name and followed by the module name. The module name should be written in snake case, all in small letters, and then a dash at the bottom. After writing the module name, then we can open a curly bracket where we will define the body of the code. Think of it like a chapter in a book. The book, which is the package name, contain multiple chapters, which is the modules, and each chapters have its own content. Inside the module, we can define struct, which is used to store data. We can also define function. We can also define function which perform actions. We can also define constant, which stores a fixed value. Then we can also import other modules into a particular module. Now let's write other codes that can be found in the modules. So we start by writing use. We want to import another module. We say use. Write the package name. Then we write the module name. So this is how we import another module from a different file into this module. Now let's define the constant. We write the keyword constant, then followed by the name of the constant, to call it mass count. Then of a type unsigned integer 8, then equal to the value, which is 10. Then let's create a struct. When creating a struct, we'll declare the keyword public, then the struct keyword, then the name of the struct, we call it person, and a curly bracket. Then within the struct, we'll write in the properties and the value, which is the type of properties will be string. The first property is name and is of a type string. Then the second property is age, unsigned integer of size 8. Then lastly, we can define a function. To declare a function, we have to write the word public, which has to do with the visibility, then the word fun, and we'll write the name of the function, which will be, let's say hello, then it will be returning string. Then we'll open a curly bracket at the body, where the body of the function will be written. So we are going to return the string. You just write hello move. Now let's talk about the package names and the package name address and the module address. Since Move runs on the blockchain, modules need an address. There are two types of address in a Move blockchain smart contract. So the first type of address, we have the direct address and the name address. The direct address is the hard coded address. So this is how we write the direct address. We write module, then we write it. The direct address is in hexadecimal form, but it is shortened in Move programming language. So followed by the name address. The name address is, we just use example model. Now this hard-coded value is the direct address, while this example module is the name address. So open a bracket, a block, and this block is the body of the module, which we have written in the top part before. Now, in order if we want to change this hard-coded address, direct address to name address, we have to first of all we'll come over to the move.toml file, and we assign the address, hard-coded address, to a name within the move to, like you see, like you can see now we have crowdfunding. Then this is the hexadecimal address, which is written in the short form. So now we have assigned this address, this hard-coded address, to this crowdfunding. When we come over to these when we come over to our modules, we can modules file, we can, instead of writing the hexadecimal address or the hard-coded address, we can just write the name, which is in turn called the name address. We just say crowdfunding. So these are the two type of address that we have in Move programming language. We have the name address and the direct address. The direct address is when you write the hard-coded address in hexadecimal form. Then the name address is when you write the name of a name in place of the address. So which we have just done. Then within the address, we have, within these curly braces, where we have the body of the module. Now we must note that the name address is much better than the hard coded address. Why is it more better? Because it makes our code easier to read and maintain. Instead of dealing with long hexadecimal addresses, we just use a name address. Now lastly, we'll talk about the module block syntax. We have the old way of writing the module block syntax, and we have the new way of writing the module block syntax. Before the year 2024, Move requires module to have curly braces. Let me show you an example. We have so we'll declare a module, then we'll say we use the name address, let's say book, then the old way of writing the module block syntax. Just we'll name the old module, then move require in the before the 2024 version, Move requires that we write our codes that belongs to the module within the curly braces. So, but in the new syntax, instead of writing our code within the curly braces, write we can use this syntax and write our code beneath the module. Now we can skip the curly braces except we need multiple module in one file. If we are writing only one module in one file, we can use this format. Instead of using the curly braces, we can just use the format, and we just write the semicolon, then define the rest of the code that belongs to the module beneath it. But if we want to have more than one module in a file, we have to use the curly braces, because using these curly braces is like a block of code within it. So every code that is within these curly braces, it's for this module. So we can also define another module within this file. I'll call it another book. Then another module. Call it another module. Then we can use curly braces. Now you can see that because we are declaring more than one module in a file, we have to use the curly braces. But if we want to use the other syntax, which is the semicolon, we cannot have two modules in one file. So that's how module block syntax works. So we have the new way of writing model block syntax and the old way of writing model block syntax. But before we wrap it up, there are some golden rules to follow. Keep each model in its own file. So it is good that we write a single model in a file. Just like we have book.move. So we are keeping each module in a file. Then second thing that we must take note of, we use clear and meaningful name for modules. When writing our modules, you should use a clear and meaningful name for modules. Then another thing you should also take note of is that we'll make everything private unless it is absolutely needed to be public. When writing our code, we should make everything private except we need such file to be interacted with outside the contract. So we have to avoid having multiple module in one file. It makes things messy. It's not really a good practice. Now remember that module keeps our code organized, just like module contain functions, constant, and even struct. Then everything is private by default unless you explicitly make it public. Then we also remember that name address makes our code more readable. Then lastly, one module per file is the best practice. These are things you must take note of. If you find this video helpful, let me know in the comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more move tutorial. See you in the next video.